So let's bring in politics reporter for Semaphore, Dave Weigel, and NBC News Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Dilanian. Good to have you both.
Thank you guys so much for being with us. Dave, let me begin with you. You talk about why MAGA can't move on from Jeffrey Epstein. I will say there have been a lot of questions surrounding Jeffrey Epstein. We started asking questions on the show in 2017, 2018, saying, wait, why is this guy walking around Palm Beach? Why did he get a sweetheart deal from a guy who, eventually became Secretary of Labor? Like, what's going on here? Because none of it made sense back before they filed charges against him again. And a lot of depositions never taken. So this isn't just something that has just now come up, and it's not like a lot of MAGA influencers have been crazy for asking these questions for the past several years. That being said, now that the very same people that said that Biden and Merrick Garland were covering things up are now saying that it is Donald Trump and Pam Bondi that are covering things up. Talk about why this issue is so important. And David French wrote a little bit about this over the weekend. Why is this issue so important to the MAGA base?
Steve Bannon explained it pretty well in the clip that you showed from the Turning Point conference. And this was a theme. You saw the conference split between people who work for Trump or running for office who didn't talk about this and every other influencer who did. And the Bannon perspective, which is widely shared, is that there is a deep state that, if it could cover this up, can cover up who knows how many crimes against Donald Trump, crimes against the American people. There must be something hidden in the Epstein record that would embarrass, much like the Church Commission 50 years ago, I should say, embarrass the security state. There must be that material in the Epstein files, TBD, unproven so far. The other part of it is that from the people who were booing in that audience is a real belief that there are people walking, you were talking about Epstein walking down Palm Beach, people like that walking free right now who committed terrible crimes that have not been exposed, and based on what happened here, would never be exposed. And so I would say that the anger is being redirected by these influencers a little bit away from Trump towards Pam Bondi. You saw it in that Megyn Kelly clip. A theme there, and in our reporting, Shelby Talcott's reporting Axios back this up, is that Bongino and to a lesser extent Patel are seen as the people who were pushing from the outside even more than Trump was for 4 years that this needed to be released. That Bondi can't be trusted because she's a glory hog, and Kelly the way that Kelly was putting it. But it comes from these two fears: one, that there are real crimes people got away with; two, is that if you expose those real crimes, think of the temples that can crumble in front of Donald Trump. Why don't they want to do that? That's the question the base has.
So the Wall Street Journal editorial board has a piece on this entitled "Now Trump Says Forget Jeffrey Epstein," and it reads in part, quote, "Donald Trump has traded in conspiracy stories for years. Barack Obama was born in Kenya. Ted Cruz's father had a link to JFK's killer. The 2020 election was stolen. Migrants are barbecuing people's pets. He seems to think this is good show business with appeal in certain niches of fragmented culture. Yet now he's upset that the Jeffrey Epstein theories he fanned are proving hard to tamp down. Mr. Trump lamented online on Saturday that his administration is taking heat over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein, over and over again. His advisors are suggesting this was a snipe hunt. But the MAGA base is in furious disbelief since the same people pledged to catch some snipe. Maybe podcast provocateurs think it's fun to spin joking, not joking, yarns about Taylor Swift rigging the Super Bowl to help President Biden. What about the truth? By the way, Mr. Trump now says the Epstein Führer can't distract Ms. Bondi from the real conspiracy. The 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they tried to do the same thing in 2024. That's what she is looking into as AG, and much more. So,
Sam Stein, obviously the Wall Street Journal editorial page, Rupert Murdoch's newspaper, following along sort of a mainstream version of what we heard this past weekend. Live by the sword, die by the sword as far as conspiracy theories go.
Yeah, and there's something kind of delicious about this, I guess, if you put aside the horrific crimes, right? Which is that this is the chief conspiracist, and now he's being eaten alive by the conspiracy world that he helped fan. And then, of course, to get out of this, people are just creating even grander conspiracies. So Dave's right. One of the things that my colleague Will Sommer has been noticing is that on the right, the new conspiracy is that the deep state, a ring of well-connected pedophiles, is now even more powerful than Donald Trump, and therefore he's the victim of this. And it's just, you keep amping up the conspiracy until it eventually just overtakes you. And so you sit back and you watch this, and I guess for Ken, the question for you, though, is there are real-world players here, not just conspiracists. In this case, there's Jan Bongino, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and all of them have, to a degree, fan this conspiracy. So all of them are, of course, now dealing with the fallout from it. But now there's this kind of turf warfare that's happening. And Joe hit on the question that I have, which is, what is it about, actually? Because they all, in theory, work under Bondi, and they all work under Trump. The actual letter that was put out to Axios, which spurred all this stuff, was directed from both the DOJ and the FBI. They're all saying the same thing in reality. So what is the actual turf war here about? Is it, as Megyn Kelly said, that Pam Bondi's just on TV too much? Because certainly Pam Bondi's made promises, but so have Kash Patel and Dan Bongino.
Yeah, that's right, Sam. Good morning. You asked a very fundamental question here. Here's my understanding from talking to people behind the scenes, that everyone, Bongino, Patel, Bondi, and Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, were all on the same page in crafting that statement. It was based on the fruits of a Justice Department review of the files. And to answer your question, Joe, there are lots of files. There is no client list. And by the way, we've been reporting that for years. People who've covered this investigation, Tom Winter in New York, has been told that by investigators. What's in the files are a lot of pictures of victims, a lot of grand jury information, a lot of unfounded allegations that career prosecutors and FBI agents cannot in good conscience recommend be released. And they convinced all these people who have been engaged in these conspiracy theories for years to do that, which was remarkable when you think about it. But then after a few days after that statement was issued last week, Bongino started to see this horrible reaction from his base. These are the people that made him rich as a podcaster. And apparently he had moments of doubt. Now, you're hearing different things, whether he is upset with Bondi because she stoked the conspiracy theories as he did, or whether it's that he just has decided he can't stand by this story anymore. It's not clear. We don't know Bongino's motivations here, but there was a meeting last week where he had a confrontation with Pam Bondi, where Bondi and Blanche accused him of leaking a story that tried to make them look bad over this, and he blew up and he didn't show up to work on Friday. Now, over the weekend, what we saw is efforts by people in MAGA world to try to mend these fences, including Julie Kelly, who you guys mentioned, and a guy named Mike Davis, who's sort of kind of an operator behind the scenes, very close to the Justice Department and advises the White House. And he is trying to be the voice of reason here. And he's got detailed threads on X explaining what's in these files and why they can't be released. It's just so incredible for me to see this. These are people who spent years telling their base that senior officials who swore to uphold the Constitution are routinely lying to them and can't be trusted. And now those same people are turning on the folks in power, Donald Trump and the people around him, guys.
So I want to, Ken, I want to underline something that you said just to make sure that, because there's a lot of stuff coming at us here, but I want to underline something that you said. That you say both your reporting, Tom Winter's reporting, and other people's reporting at NBC News has confirmed over the years. And you're saying that your reporting, NBC's reporting, is that actually the administration now is correct, that there is no client list, there is no smoking gun out there. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, that's right, Joe. And I know it's hard for a lot of people to believe. And obviously, there have been huge questions about this case from the beginning. And you mentioned it. The origins of this in Florida suggested that initially Epstein used his power and influence to get away with it, essentially. But after there was a lot of good journalism by the Miami Herald and others, the federal government came in and did a comprehensive investigation. And look, I mean, obviously there's issues with the evidence here. So I'm not saying that there aren't photos of other people potentially exploiting children. That may exist, but everybody who was prosecutable in this case was prosecuted. That's our understanding. And there may be unfounded allegations in those files where somebody called the FBI and said a celebrity, engaged in sexual misconduct. They can't release that without evidence. That would ruin that person's life. So the idea that you could just unleash this raw file information on a child exploitation case to the public just never was realistic. But to your point, that's not what Pam Bondi initially told the public. That's not what Dan Bongino said. That's not what Kash Patel said. And now they're reaping the whirlwind.
All right, NBC's Ken Delaney, and thank you so much. Dave Weigel, where do you think this goes next?
I do think the focus is going to be on Bondi because of the high-profile role she has taken, not just in describing these documents, but as AG. And this is another point Kelly was making over the weekend, Megyn Kelly. How often have you seen AG go on TV this much to advance not this administration's line, but to promise something that's on the way? They were learning the reason you don't usually do that, because sometimes you cannot declassify what you think you're going to be able to declassify, or what you said during the campaign you could. So I think the attention is going to be more on her. It's been coming up in this panel, but the story is already being rewritten on the fly to absolve Trump and say that this is not his fault, even though that Fox clip you played earlier, that's one during the campaign that was cut down a bit to make his answer on the original Fox broadcast look more definitive that he was going to release these Epstein files. It would be impossible for the Republican base to be told Donald Trump was not telling the truth about what he was going to do with these files when he got elected. Much easier to say Pam Bondi, a character who showed up at the beginning of the season, is the problem here.
Semaphores Dave Weigel, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. And Jonathan Lemire, you covered the White House, obviously. I'm curious your thoughts about what happens next, and if we're not watching Pam Bondi being set up, as the Grateful Dead would say, like a bowling pin and knocked down. I mean, is she going to be the scapegoat here for years and years of conspiracy theories that ended up not bearing fruit?
It's possible. Now, I'm told by some aides, White House aides over the weekend, that President Trump, in his posts on social media Saturday night, did really try to defend Bondi. So at least so far, he has her back. But that could change. If this story doesn't go away, it is possible that she would be the one to be set up to fall. Now, we need to see if Don Bongino shows up to work today. He didn't on Friday.
Right.
He stayed silent over the weekend. We did hear from Kash Patel distancing, because there were rumors that both men were going to resign over this. Patel posted on his personal account saying, no, that's not the case. I'm here. We'll see what else he might have to say today. Bongino quiet over the weekend. We'll see what he has to say. I think I'm also told by the White House they're just eager to just try to change the subject of conversation. They're going to try to talk about something else, anything else. We'll get to it in a minute. There might be some Ukraine-Russia news today. There'll be other topics of conversation that I think this White House is going to try to push forward to move past this. But if the weekend's any evidence, I think there's going to be at least some parts of the MAGA base that are not going to so easily let go of something they've been promised for years.